Hello friends, this is a 2 mark question on DBMS on topic file structures. Here we are given 3 tables and we have to match an index with the number of index entry it has and its type, whether dense or non-dense. Now in order to answer this question, we first need to understand each index type. For this, let us consider a sample database which has 9 entries divided in 3 blocks on the disk, and each block has 3 records. It has several attributes. Among these, the first one is name, which is also a primary key attribute, and the last one is All India rank, which is a secondary key attribute. That is, for both of these attributes, the value of a record is unique across the database. Now, the primary index file for this database look like this. That is, it has a one entry for each block on the disk. Each index entry's first field is primary key attribute value of first record in the block, and second field is pointed to that block. For example, the first entry has first field as A because the first primary key attribute value of first record in the first block is A, and second field point to the first block. Similarly, for second and third block, as can be seen, number of entries is equal to the number of blocks for the file. Now let us look at the secondary index file for the same database. Here the index file has one entry for each record of the data file. For example, 1 points to the correct record on block 3. Similarly for others. Hence the number of entries in secondary index file is equal to the number of records in the database, which is 9. Now let us discuss clustering index. For this, consider a new database which again has 9 entries divided in 3 blocks, and each block has 3 records. However, the value of A in database can repeat. Hence this field is called clustering field. In clustering index file, we have a single entry for each distinct value of clustering field. Since there are 4 different values of clustering field here, we have 4 entries in the clustering index file, and each entry points to the first block of the data file that has record with that value. For example, here B points to second block on the disk for that data file because B contains record with clustering field value as B. Similarly, C again points to block 2, not block 3, because C appear first in block 2 and not in block 3. Thus, the number of entries in clustering index files are equal to the number of distinct value for the clustering index field. Now, we have two types of index, dense index and sparse or non-dense index. We say that an index is a dense index if it has an index entry for every record in the data file, whereas an index is a sparse index or a non-dense index when it has an index for some of the records, not for all. For example, here, though the records are 9, we have only 4 entries in the clustering index table. Hence, clustering index is non-dense. Similarly, for primary index, the number of entries are lesser than the number of records. Hence, this is also a non-dense index. Whereas, for secondary index, the number of entries in index file are equal to the number of records. Hence, it is a dense index. Now, looking at the option, D is the only correct option given, and we can verify it from the tables. Like for primary index, the number of entries is equal to the number of blocks in the data file, and it's a non-dense index, that is D, Q. For clustering index, the number of entries is equal to the number of distinct index fields value, and it's also a non-dense index, that is C, Q. And for secondary index on key fields, the number of index entries is equal to the number of records in the data file, and it's a dense index. So the correct option is D. Thank you.